I was always in awe by how agile birds were, how they moved so quickly and so easily through their environment. And I was just awed by that. It just amazed me from a real little kid. And so I remember sitting in my backyard watching field sparrows and song sparrows. And so I started drawing them. When I went to college, I knew nothing. I never studied. I never looked through a microscope. I never took homework home. I never took tests. I had no idea what I was doing. And I virtually flunked out of school. So the second semester, I decided I got to change whatever I'm going to do. All I knew was music and art. I was unable to read music, so I decided to change to art. So this is a northern pygmy owl that I created for my first book called Small Mountain Owls. And I really wanted the design of the book to be just like this, where the painting of that individual species is kind of the forefront of each part of the book. I like to consider myself both a naturalist and an amateur ornithologist. What I prefer to do has a lot to do with what an ornithologist would do, which would be locating bird nests, identifying incubation periods, courtship, recording vocalizations, video, writing papers, publishing articles, writing books, which is a lot of the stuff ornithologists do without the degree. Not having a scientific degree, I think, enables me to look at things differently than a scientist or a biologist would. Therefore, I'm going to come up with different questions and find answers that they may not have ever thought about.
One would certainly take a look at someone that doesn't have a degree, doesn't have the diploma hanging on the wall. You'll evaluate their skill set perhaps a little more carefully, but then when you find someone like Scott that has spent 15, 20 years just watching, observing, collecting the data, certainly if I came out of school with a master's or a PhD, certainly about the specific things that Scott has focused on, would certainly not know as much about that particular area as he does.
Normally what happens is I get a phone call and somebody says they have an injured bird. What I do is I walk up to the bird very slowly and I get down as low as I can if the bird's most likely on the ground. I get as low as I can and kneel in front of the bird and I very quietly talk to it. Believe it or not, I introduce myself to it. I let the bird know I'm not going to hurt it, I'm here to help it. And I very slowly put my arms around, my hands around it and pick the bird up. I do a quick survey sometimes just to see what the injury might be. Put the bird in the pet carrier, bring the bird home.
It's nothing that for Scott to handle an eagle or a great horned owl. He understands birds. He's been around birds enough, and he's worked with professors at CSU. He's respected through his dedication and passion. He's learned.
I love working with the birds. I love learning about the birds. I love reading a book or an article that somebody had written about kestrels, northern shrikes, pygmy owls, whatever the case may be. Then going out and looking at what I've learned and see if what I'm finding here in Colorado correlates with what they found in Wisconsin or Texas or Washington State or California. Because I'm not connected to a university, I don't have the fancy degrees. The only downside to it is it's more difficult for me to find funding. Most of my funding comes from private donors. Now it's becoming more of an issue trying to work a full-time job and run and manage carry with the barn owl project, the long-eared owl project, the northern goshawk project, the pygmy owl project, the flaminate owl project, the northern saw-whet owl project, the boreal owl project. You know, the kestrel project, it just is more than having 1 or 2 days off a week enables me to do. I've written 3 books, multiple articles, paintings. I've started all these projects with the help of very few individuals and still been able to do it. And I could do a whole lot more if I had the time to just do carry work.